Have you ever had a cookie that just the moment you ate it, you were completely satisfied with it? Just one cookie?
I've only had that once. I've had that actually with bread, sweet bread.
Yeah, because I had I worked yesterday. I had a cookie that was from Trader Joe's. It was a shortbread cookie, and it was like wait, did I say the dough? Yeah, it was a shortbread cookie, and it had a coffee in it and stuff like that. And I just ate it, and I'm just eating. And then all of a sudden, just like an explosion happens in my mouth, like the Adult Swim thing where it goes.
Yeah,
it's that with the cookie inside my mouth, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I'm just eating the cookie, and I'm done with the cookie, and I'm like, I don't want more. This is weird. This is strange. I don't like it. Anyways, it's Tiger Anime
episode 004. Hi everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Arash,
and I'm Jay,
and we've got hopefully a really good episode for you this time. Because we both, when I re-listened to it, I was like, wow, last episode was really bad.
Yeah, that was a bit bad. That was not the greatest. That was not our best.
That was not our best.
Well, we can do way better.
Yeah, we can do way better, and we've actually received some feedback from some of our listeners, which I'm really always happy to hear. It's because we want to make this show as good as we can for you, so we're making a few changes here and there, and we have a big announcement at the end of the episode.
Yes, at the end of the episode.
Yeah, don't worry though, it's not us going away, but there is going to be some significant changes that are going to be happening, so we can make sure that you guys get the best episode you can.
Yep.
Alright, so here we are, and might as well, we're going to start off with our usual thing with our intros. So, I guess... Wait, we just
weeks.
Weeks, because we just did our intro.
Yeah, we just did our intro of who we are.
Alright, so
I
guess I'll just start off with my week. As usual, I don't do much because I'm like a hikikomori. I'm a shut-in at home.
Yeah, you really are, and it takes me to get you out of the house.
Yeah, it takes a lot for me to get me out of the house, and then my wife doesn't help me at all because she's a shut-in too.
Yeah, and I need to take you to the Mall of America because I want to stop by there.
Well, I need to stop by there too, because mostly
we should plan a play date.
Yeah, play date. Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, my week is I finally finished off my mermaid deck for the card game I play.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that, and it is very beautiful and very shiny because I didn't realize I accidentally ordered some holographic cards, which probably explains why my deck was a little bit more expensive than it should have been.
Yeah.
Yay! That, and I've still been playing some Rainbow Six Siege. Still getting my butt whooped in that. And a friend of mine gave me Tales of Zestiria. Yeah, that's the one. So I have that downloading actually right now at home.
Nice.
I'm going to probably finally try it out.
Yeah.
Khaleesi, our FC leader, says, oh boy, you're going to have a great time. And then I'm going to tell you how much it sucks afterwards.
Oh, I'm going to tell you how much it sucks.
Yep.
While you're playing it. I will be like over on PSN's like, hey, this game sucks.
Actually, he gave me for my PC.
Oh, yeah, so yeah. Then I can do it over Discord.
So I don't have a choice to play it because it's on my PC because I don't play my PS4 at all.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's honestly pretty much my entire week.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't...
Just work and whatever else.
Work and whatever I do. And, I've been watching some anime, but we'll talk about that later. Because, we still have our previews on the docket. We have a docket now, so that's going to help things out so much. Yay! A piece of paper right here.
Oh, don't do that.
There. That way they know we're serious.
Yeah, we're serious. Yep. We have a paper.
We have a paper. And a pen. And a pen.
Okay. Anyway, we're going on too far off topic.
Yep.
I guess it's my week then?
Yep, your week now too.
My week, I spent a lot of it working. Like, holy crap. I wasn't able to play almost any video games I get home, and I'd just be exhausted and just look at YouTube videos online. But I did watch a couple of movies. One of them I'm reviewing, one of them I'll talk about later. But I did watch, it's John Carpenter's The Thing, which is the 1980s.
Yeah, we talked about briefly last week.
Last week, holy crap, that movie's so good.
Because you said you haven't watched it before.
I had seen the 60s movie, and then I had seen the 2010 movie.
But you haven't seen the actual good one.
But I had no. So the 60s movies is campy, but still really good.
Yeah.
The 2010 one, I liked it until I saw the 1980s one, which is holy crap, the 2010 one basically just ripped it completely off.
God, yes.
Yeah, and did a worse job at it too. And holy crap, some of those animatronics, they're basically they're just cutting into them. His ooze is coming out, and they're pulling out these organs. Like, I think they may have been actual organs that they were pulling out because it looks so real. And there's the animatronics and like all the other stuff that they were doing. It was so cool. It was such a cool movie. And I like the ending to it too.
Yes,
it ended really well. Unlike with the 2010 version, the monster stayed smart the entire time, whereas the 2010 version it gets dumb at the end.
So I don't have no idea how old any of our audience that listens, but if you have a chance, go watch the thing and realize that this is from what, 1980?
It's in the 80s.
It's
I don't know exactly what year.
I don't know exactly
still
what
really,
year.
really
but
good.
if you really think about from that time and watch other movies from that time, even like heavy special effects type, that's really advanced for its time.
Yeah, it's like I would put it on the same level as Hellraiser.
Yeah.
With its animatronics and stop motion. Because at one point they do stop motion animation for like there's these tentacles that come up and just whipping around.
Yep.
But all like the other like actual like monsters, like they're moving in real time. It's so cool. It is such a cool movie. So, oh my gosh.
Always would recommend that movie.
Always recommend that movie. Besides that, not much. Hanging out with some people one night, and that was it. Like,
we live very boring lives.
Very boring lives.
Yeah, I think that's why we watch anime.
Yeah.
Because it's more exciting than our lives.
But anyways, now onto the news.
Yay, now onto the news. Alright, so the only news that I could find is something that I think is great, considering it directly relates to what we do and how we do it, is that Crunchyroll has surpassed 1 million paid subscribers.
Mm-hmm. And,
of course, they're doing giveaways and whatnot, so I want to give a big shout-out to Crunchyroll. Thank you for giving us a reason to live.
Yes. Actually, it should be give us a reason, a good way to watch anime legally.
Yep, a good way to watch anime legally and to give it to us at the same time it airs in Japan.
Holy crap.
You
guys do a lot of work, and, like, I'm actually kind of impressed when I hear stories like, oh, we got this thing an hour before we were supposed to put it up.
Because if it wasn't for them, it'd just be waiting to see if it may come out in the States.
May come out in the States, whether or not it's, or if someone would fan sub it, and a lot of times shows wouldn't be fan sub.
Yep.
Because why?
Why? Nowadays, I think a lot of shows are still fan sub, but I wouldn't know now because I honestly don't go much onto that site.
I just know that they mainly just ripped the subtitles off of Crunchyroll and Funimation.
That's the... Oh my God.
Yeah, so like if you do find, but there are some people who still do it, and they still do a great job at it. As in terms of not in terms of like translation, but in terms of actual like typesetting and stuff like that. They do a fantastic job.
So along with that, they're also announcing that they're having their first convention, Crunchyroll Expo. That's going to be in LA, I believe. I want to say yes, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, there was a different.
So Crunchyroll, I think is. I want to say congratulations.
Santa Clara.
Santa Clara. It's
August 25th to the 27th in Santa Clara, and I've actually been there.
Oh. So I want to give a big shout out to Crunchyroll. Thank you for giving us a way to support the show. Thank you for giving us anime simulcast. I want to say you guys were the first company to do that.
I think so.
Because they were a fan sub.
They were a fan sub site, and
that went legit.
And then they're like, I think they got as a lot of things go. They got a cease and desist, and then they went, hey. We got to contact a few now. Hey, can we do something to make this legal?
Yep. And then they did, and now they're where they are today. So, yay, Crunchyroll.
Yay, Crunchyroll. Yep. So I have a bunch of news. Some of it's fun, some of it's interesting. The Irregular Magical High School movie, The Girl Who Calls the Stars, anime film just got its first visual, or new visual, I should say.
Cool.
And a release date for Japan is coming out on June 17th. This takes place after the first season. It takes place on their spring break in between their first and second years of school. There is actually there isn't a novel that takes place in between that. It's a brand new story.
Is it an original work?
Yes, an original work by the original author.
Okay.
I think in the novels it just kind of skips straight to the second year, so it's a perfect time where he doesn't have any material where he can put something. I don't know how I'll mess up the rest of the story, but whatever. I'm excited for it personally because I hate this series.
It's one of those shows that you have a love-hate relationship. All the time you've described it to
me. Like there's a lot of sociological thought put into it, but not a lot put into the story. Even though there is one story.
For someone who hates the show a lot, you invest a lot into it.
Yeah, because I found something I enjoyed with it, and like it's something I don't see a heck of a lot of. So like. oh great, I had to read through this really crappy thing in order to get what I want. And I did, and like I enjoyed it. I would say it's my guilty pleasure.
Yes, we all have one.
Yeah, but anyways, on to the next bit of news. A report a report done by the Japan Video Software Association, or JVA, released a 12-month report on video software sales in Japan, and they are actually down 6.2% from last year. And so this encompasses revenue, not number of sales.
Okay.
So for this, like the amount of revenue that companies, and this encompasses Blu-ray, DVD, rental places, as well as DVDs and software, and also video software sold with magazines, manga, and other things. And so that includes all of that into it as well. And so it's down 6.2% in terms of revenue, which is the lowest. Which is lower than it has been in 20 years. Wait, let me get that. See, 12 years. Nope. Since 1997. So yeah, 20 years.
Wow.
So it's the lowest it's been since then. I think that's when they actually started looking at these numbers. However, it should be noted that the market actually saw a 0.7 increase in sales, in number of sales.
Yeah,
it's just that
the overall.
So the overall revenue is dropping, but the overall sales are slightly increasing, which can mean one or two things. One, that prices are going down, or two, the increase in sales was for lower priced items. Yeah, and so it's not like deaf physical media is dying. It's just that. Hey, we're just seeing a lower that the amount of money being brought back is less. That's really what we're seeing there.
That's actually really interesting.
So yeah, like I just saw that, like it's really interesting. I know that for anime, I can't remember which company it is, but they put out a report on revenue within the anime industry itself. And that one saw a slight decrease in its Blu-ray sales, home video sales. Yeah. But it's starting to level out, but the amount of revenue for like licensing and foreign revenue is actually increasing year over year, and along with digital software sales as well. So like stuff like streaming and stuff like that is actually growing in that area in terms of revenue and profit. So like the anime industry is still making tons of money. It's just that it's making it in different ways
now because they have to adapt.
They have to adapt.
I don't remember the last time I bought a physical anime DVD.
I bought one a lot.
Well, you buy them all the time.
Yeah, you bought. I think the last one you bought was Haruhi.
Yes, actually, that was the last one I bought.
Yeah,
but most of my money goes to figures. But anyways.
So I got some game trailer news.
Hey.
Yay!
Your favorite one that you're super excited
about.
I am just looking at your thing.
Ecstatic about this. Nier Automata got a new game trailer called Glory to Mankind.
Yeah.
This one shows off the English voice casting for it, and it's actually really intense and kind of amazing. It says nothing about what the story is at all. In fact, I am more confused with this story than anything, because a character in Nier, you can hear his voice, and he would be over 10,000 years old at this point. And it's like, I'm like, oh wait, why is he here? This makes no sense. Also, like, there's like, I am more confused. I was more confused after playing this demo than I was after a trailer.
They're doing good. They're doing a really good job of hiding what this is about.
I am so excited. I have no idea what this is. I know it's about Android, but it's like, I'm excited for that. But yeah, I would say check it out. You can find it on Square Enix's North American YouTube channel, as well as the PlayStation YouTube channel. Yuri on Ice got a all-night marathon.
I saw that, but I didn't know if that was worth talking about, because
the reason why I want to talk about, one, because they released a new visual of the entire cast that was taken on a selfie stick.
Oh, I love that they do stuff like that.
Yeah, and so what's special about this event? It may have been something you had to buy the Blu-rays for in order to get the ticket. I don't know if that was the case or not. It doesn't say in the article, but one of the things that every single guest got, they got a fan and stickers. And what you do is you take the stickers of the character that you want to cheer for, and you put it onto the fan.
That's so good.
And it's done. It's all done in a theater. And so people so they allow them to cheer for the person that they want. That's why I wanted to mention it, because I think that's really kind of cool and kind of fun.
And I just want to say that the fans of that all kinds of stuff, they take that very seriously for cheering. If you ever see videos of idol stuff, those guys are very serious.
Yeah, and also a lot of the times Japanese fans are very, very quiet.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of interesting. I have a thing to say, but let's move on to the next article. So I don't know if you knew about this, but there was a Nekopara Kickstarter going on.
I remember seeing that is getting released.
So yes, it is getting released. It is going to. So its normal first goal was $100,000.
Yeah.
Which it reached in a few hours.
Yeah.
Maybe the first hour. I don't know. And it quickly hit the $500,000 mark after a couple of days, where it went from being 10 minutes long to 60 minutes long.
Nice.
So yes. And then after that it went to more Kickstarter goals, hey, if you reach this much, we'll turn this into a game.
Yeah.
If you make this much, we'll also turn that game into a movie.
Yeah.
So it ended up with $963,000.
You underestimate the power of Moe.
I don't.
You underestimate.
I don't.
Because I am not surprised that made that much.
I'm not surprised it made that much. So that meant it fell short of its $1 million goal.
Yep.
So that it'd actually get the short game into a 15-minute movie by a little under 40,000.
Yep.
Which is still incredible that it got that much. Which is really great. And so I just wanted to say that I almost backed it, but the amount of money I would have to put in to get what I wanted out of it was $140 bucks, and I did not have the money at that time to get it.
Yay.
So this happened, and so next bit of news, I have quite a bit. I have 3 more after this one. The anime New Game?
Yes, I love that show.
It's getting a second season.
I am so happy. That show was really adorable.
Yes, it was really adorable. I really liked it. I think the original creator posted something on his Twitter feed about it. I remember seeing this really adorable picture he drew. And so yeah, that's it. I don't know. It doesn't have any information about when it's airing. It just got a greenlit.
I'm wondering what it's gonna be about this time, because it's probably just gonna be more of the same. But I'm still excited for it.
Yeah, it's still probably gonna be more of the same. Maybe looking at okay, what do you do with a new game project? How does a new game project start up and stuff like that?
Because this explains the bare bones of the game industry.
Very bare bones with a huge amount of fluff on top of it, which I still like it.
Yes.
And so yeah, and then the next bit of news is that today, the new Ghost in the Shell movie got a brand new full trailer, and it looks really good.
I need to watch that because I kind of avoid everything.
The only problem with the trailer, it kind of reveals its plot a bit, a lot.
Well, it's just a remake of the original movie, isn't it? No,
it's not.
It's not. I thought that's what they were doing.
It is not an original remake. It is its own vision of what the world will be like.
Oh.
I'm watching the thing. I'm like, who the hell is this character? What do they mean by this? They completely changed Makoto's backstory again.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting to find out exactly what they do.
Yeah.
They revealed, I think, a little bit too much of their hand with this latest trailer, so I would actually recommend watching the 2 older trailers and not this one.
Yeah, I think eventually, though, we'll just need to discuss about this kind of stuff, too,
Yeah.
because I know there's another anime that's being released as a live-action movie here in the West. I don't remember what
Death
it was.
Note is getting one by Netflix.
I know there's another one as well. I need to look it up, but they had another famous actress as being the lead in it. But that's something we should talk about eventually.
Battle Angel Alita.
Yep, that one.
Or Alita Battle Angel.
Alita Battle Angel.
Which they got a director and cast, but they don't have a budget.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, that's some more fun stuff. And so last week I reviewed Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt.
Yep.
It is being released on Gundam Info at youtube.com/Gundam Info for free.
Whoa.
You can watch the first let's see, the first episode is currently streaming right now as we speak.
Nice.
It is streaming with English and Korean subtitles as well as Chinese subtitles until February 19th.
Nice.
So I would say hop on that, watch that first episode, because on February 19th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time to February 26th Eastern Time, you are also able to watch the second episode, and then every few weeks, so it runs for about a week or two, and then the next episode is up.
All right, so if you don't want to spend $90, go on there and watch it.
Yes,
I would recommend it. Watch it.
It's really good. It's a little bit different than the 70-minute version, but it's still worth it. It's still really really good.
Yeah.
I still highly recommend it.
Especially that's perfect timing considering we just reviewed
We just talked about it. It's such a good intro to the Gundam universe. It's a little bit harsher than all the Gundam.
Would you say that's a good Gundam to start off with?
Yes, I would say it's definitely a good Gundam to start off with.
Even because I didn't know anything about Gundam, but
yeah,
I would recommend that.
Yeah, and if you want to watch the 79 version, you can get the Blu-rays from Right Stuff.
Always Right Stuff.
Yeah, always Right Stuff. RightStuffAnime.com.
Yay! Plug. Give us coupons.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but it is. But not.
No.
Give us money. So from news, we're going on to something we kind of want to keep doing, but it's talking about the anime we watched this week, just kind of show we're not complete losers. Well, we
are complete losers. It's just that we also watch anime.
But it's I love how that's an also. There's no way of changing that part, but there's an also for that. So why don't you go first? Because I know there's something that you bought that you mentioned last week that you were excited about.
So I mentioned last week on the podcast that I bought the movie Psychic School Wars. I had to look at the title, which I watched after watching Kizumonogatari.
Yeah, because you were really excited about that.
I was really excited about it because it looked really pretty, and holy crap, is that a gorgeous looking film! Like, I have not seen something this gorgeous out of Sunrise in a very very long time, and holy crap, like visually impressive, lots and lots of colors, very very bright and like vibrant. A little hard to figure out exactly what you're looking at, like every once in a while, but most of the time like that. Animation is stellar, like super fantastic. It makes me want to look up the animators that worked on it. I'm also like who storyboarded the visuals on it. However, it is complete and utter crap. It is so bad. It is one of the worst movies I have seen in a very long time. Like, it introduces concepts and stuff and never talks about it. It's like, oh, time travel. Okay. And then it talks about like stuff like, oh, he's from the moon. Okay. He has psychic powers. Okay. That's all good and dandy. I can deal with that in my head. He's from the moon.
Well, it's in the title, Psychic School Wars.
Yeah, so he has psychic powers. What the problem is, it's like they talk about constantly, like, there's problems at the school without ever showing the problems at the school. They talk about like, psychic powers, but they never explain them. They never go into detail about these psychic powers. It just, they're there. Sometimes shit will be happening on screen, and you're like, what is going on? I don't know. It looks pretty, I guess. And then there's this really predictable love arc that goes through it. I'm like, oh, saw that coming.
Yep.
That was dumb. It's like it is an awful, boring movie that makes no sense, and it tries to say something and ends up saying nothing.
Do you regret buying it?
Kind of.
But at the same time,
it was only
really
$13,
and it's really pretty.
And it's really pretty.
Yeah. It's always the best. I think you're the only one I know that buys anime on a whim.
It was $13.
Yeah, it was $13, and you want to say that.
I'm like, I have free shipping and a $100 gift card.
Alright, so my anime I watched that I literally just watched before we even started the show is I've been still, because I know you stopped keeping up with Interview with Monster Girls, right?
Yeah, I might just watch it when there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, once it's, but it's still going good. The latest episode talked about, mostly the focus of this episode was the vampire girl and actually her family.
Oh.
So it's basically, it could have gone more in depth. I kind of wanted to go more in depth with the family, like how does the family respond to having, a demi-human as their daughter and whatnot.
Yep.
And I wanted to see more about their past, because I'm pretty sure, growing up with a vampire girl, that's got to be a lot of trouble going up. But you kind of got the basis of how they're dealing with it now and how they've learned to accept it. There's some parts where you can kind of tell that they are thinking about the past.
Oh, that's good.
And it's really hitting home. I don't know why. I'm still really liking this show. I always get more excited for it. And the Vampire Girl is one of my favorite characters. Like, there is no girl in this show that I don't like. I like the Vampire Girl. I like the Duluha, the Snow Girl, the Succubus teacher. It's like, one thing I want to mention is that I really love the way they're dealing with the succubus teacher. She, every episode she's been appearing more and more a bit because obviously she's a succubus and everyone knows what succubuses are all about. But they don't focus on that at all. She's just kind of there. She's not there for fan service. Of course, they're going to draw attentions to her large tracts of land and all that kind of stuff. But she's wearing a tracksuit the whole time. And the way they're handling everything, it's a very... I don't know if I want to say mature anime, because...
It's thoughtful.
It's thoughtful. That's the word I'm looking at. It's a thoughtful anime, and I'm really enjoying it. And as soon as it's done, you definitely need to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, because one of the anime I didn't tell you about it because I just thought of it.
Yeah.
I started catching up with. Who's trying to catch up with? March Comes In Like a Lion.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, and that one's a Studio Shaft show. Actually being directed by Akiyuki Shimbo this time. He's not chief director. He's actually in the director's chair, which is nice to see him back as a director. I like his visuals. A lot of that deals with depression. Like a lot of almost every single visual is like stuff about depression. In one of the latest episodes, like I watched, like the guy, he gets into his own headspace and how they visualize this is like this like deep void.
Yeah.
Deep like blackness, like a lot of blacks, a lot of deep blues and stuff like that. But it also it was also like a really great language just with in colors in general with the show. Like when he's at these girls, this family of sisters that when he's at their house, at their sister's house, it tends to be very, very warm coloring, very bright, very warm language and stuff like that attached to it, and they do a lot of stuff with it that basically to make you like, hey, this is a warm, loving home, and then contrast to outside where it's cold, dark, full of blues and stuff like that. It's like very, very menacing. And so there's this very deep contrast for it. Even at his home, like it's very lonely. They do a really good job with just making things feel certain ways. And I do recommend it, kind of that just for that visual language, but also for the story that's going on as well.
Because I know you recommended me that one before, and I just never got around to watching it. I keep seeing things about it everywhere.
Yeah, the first couple episodes are a bit of a slog because it's like, why is there so much depression imagery? Why are they not talking about it more? And so a lot of that was hitting home for me personally. But as it gets into the second half of it, it starts to get way better. It actually starts to really start to get its focus, like what it really wants to look at and talk about. Because now the character's finally starting to self-actualize and finally starting to take control of who he is and what he wants to do and what he really starts to focus on everything. And so he's starting to learn and grow, and so it's really nice to see that.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited to get caught up. I think I'm on episode 16. Another problem is that it's following the manga way too closely.
Yeah.
So like the pacing of it, like per episode, is like, oh, you should have not taken it this, like the reveal of like this of a sad thing happened in episode 5 when it should have happened in episode 1, and it was like, I guess, but
with most shows, they follow like, you can make it like an entire season of a show like what, first 3 volumes of manga.
A light novel you can do the first 3.
Yeah.
A manga you typically need about 6.
So I'm really surprised to hear that they're doing, they're taking it that slow too. Does that hurt the show at all?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah. In the beginning, yes, it does. It definitely ruins the pacing of it. It definitely ruins the way the show, the way you can't really connect with the characters very well because of it. It's like, he's sad. Everyone looks super sad, and it's like it's literally the saddest looking face that I will ever see.
Yeah. But
there's also points in one of the episodes I just watched, it's just music and a guy getting ready, and that's it. And it's like this is really well animated, but what's the fucking point?
What's the point? But it does sound like an indie show, and I probably will.
I do recommend it. I do. It's one of Shat's best productions. It's airing on the NHK, which is the government site, so they have to get it out on time every single week. And it's interesting because the actual credits change. So the NHK the credits on there are different than the credits on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Crunchyroll actually has more credits than the NHK
Nice.
version.
All right, well, I think that's pretty much it for conclusion of anime we've watched.
Yeah, I also watched Tanya. Dragon Maid So Good.
Dragon Maid So Good. I actually bought the manga.
Nice.
That pretty much the same thing, but I'm enjoying it just because of the different
I also been trying to finish volume 2 of Overlord. I got maybe a couple pages in before I fall asleep.
Alright, so from there, we're going to head straight into our reviews, and I'll start off with my review, because I know you're just kind of curious just because of the image I see.
Yeah, you sent me something, and I'm like, what the fuck are you watching?
Yeah, because there's a huge Evangelion reference. It's just there randomly. But the show I'm reviewing is one of my personal favorite shows. I'd say probably one of my top 5 shows. I'm a little biased right now. Is Ping Pong the animation.
Oh, okay.
Alright. So, the show follows 2 high school ping pong players, Tsukimoto Makoto, who goes by the name Smile, and you learn that the reason he has this nickname is because he doesn't smile at all. He pretty much has no emotion. And Hoshino Yutaka, who goes by the nickname Peko. I don't know why he goes by that. The show doesn't go into that, but that doesn't matter at all. So, Smile is an apathetic, he's an apathetic person. He has really no drive at all when it comes to school, when it comes to playing ping pong at all. He's just there just to pass time until he dies, basically, until he says. But the weird part is he's a fantastic player. He's number 2 on the team. He just got into the team and he's in number 2. Peko, on the other hand, who's also a fantastic player, has a very, very, very large ego because of it. And throughout all his matches, if he wins, he'll go like, you're 300 years too late to ever face me. After high school, I'm going to go to Europe and be the biggest ping pong player in the world. That's his goal. He wants to be number 1 in the world. And Smile's just there, just to play ping pong. So the show basically follows the 2 players as they overcome what's holding them back from basically being all they can be in the sport of ping pong. Because, Peko is very egotistical, so that's holding him back actually because of that. Smile has no drive, and that's holding him back. Like, this is a very, very down-to-earth show, and that's one of the reasons why I like it. The story, I'm not going to explain the story much because it's literally kind of spoilery, but if you watched any kind of sports anime, you're going to know what's going to happen. They start off meh, and then they rise up to the big old tournament at the end.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. You do need some knowledge of the sport to actually know what's going on. Because, with more sports animes, they're playing the game, and then you have the guy on the sideline who's like, oh, that's what he's doing because this is how it is.
Also, they don't do that.
They don't do that at all. Do you know what a pen holder grip is?
No.
In ping pong? Neither do I. But they don't explain that.
Is that when you hold it like a pen?
No, it's called a Chinese pen holder grip, and you see Peko use it, and you put pieces 2 and 2 together. Do you know how the scoring in ping pong works?
With points?
Well, do you know exactly how it goes?
Is it like tennis?
I have no idea, but they don't explain that either. Do you know what a chopper is in ping pong?
No.
I don't either.
I'm expecting you to say, it's this, but you don't say anything.
No, I don't know, because it doesn't go into that at all. All the show only focuses on the players, and that's what I really like. You do need some knowledge of how things work, but, ping pong seems like it's a relatively easy sport to follow. Like, you can pick up what's going on here and there. You kind of learn what a pen holder grip is, just because that's the main character.
Because they have to visually show it.
They have to visually show it. So I really like that. The art is, let's just say it's very unique.
It's Masaki Uesa's show, so of course it's going to be unique.
It's very unique for people who are very used to the way today's anime is and the art style is. The art in the show probably is going to turn you off, like, immediately. I almost stopped watching the show when I first watched it, simply because of the art. It's very simple. A lot of times they use kind of weird camera angles where the scale feels very, very off. Mm-hmm. It's very... And what I hate the most, but love at the same time, is if there's a camera angle where it's very far away, they use very, very simple designs to show the characters. Like, they don't even have hands. It's just literally just like a little point and just like mouths just moving. You can tell there's a mouth, but there's no detail at all. And it's just like a blobby kind of thing, just with the outline of the character.
They must have really set out to do the entire thing on paper.
Yeah, if it looks like it at all. The animation is relatively simple for sports animation or sports anime. You know, if you see a lot of sports anime, you know there's like a lot of things going on. This show heavily uses a lot of, you know, the old-fashioned square things, like in triangle cuts, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like one of the way I can best describe it is, you know, it's a full screen thing of the character bouncing the ball on the table. He throws it up, then a third of the screen cuts, and there's the ball coming down. The middle part's him hitting the ball, and then the left portion is him doing the follow-through. It uses that constantly and does a lot of triangle cuts throughout all the matches. But every now and then the show does shine when it wants to at key matches. It feels like they actually, you know, I wouldn't say rotoscoped, but what's that thing you talked about for Yuri on Ice that they did?
Reference.
They used, you can definitely tell with that, with some of like the really big matches of ping pong, because when it wants to shine, it really shines with ping pong. Like, it feels like you're actually watching a ping pong match, like a professional ping pong match.
So the references was probably like professional ping pong matches.
Yep. And throughout all this show honestly wouldn't sound good to a normal person. But the one thing that this show really shined, that kept me watching, was a large amount of imagery that is to show the internal struggles and the personality of players as the match goes on, and just in general. One of the biggest examples I can give is there's a scene where two coaches are talking about a player and his improvement, how he's growing as a person, as a player. The camera's focused like it's showing through a bush, because it's focusing on a chrysalis of a butterfly. And as they're talking about the player as they improve, you know, it'll zoom in on them, and it'll zoom back on the chrysalis as it's starting to hatch into a butterfly.
Oh, that's some good metaphor.
It's using a lot of imagery like that. During the matches, it uses a lot of, like you were talking about earlier, with a lot of void shots with the table tennis, and it'll show if the opponent is strong, either some kind, like one of the players, his nickname is Dragon. So the entire time, the regular player is playing ping pong against a giant dragon who just grabs the ping pong and is just basically just chucking back at it with such force.
That's cool.
And one of my favorite scenes is that Smile has been, you know, because he shows no emotion, these people call him a robot. So there's every now and there's one part where every like movement he makes is the sound of a robot.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And the last part I'll say too about is the way it decides to use sound and some music really, really well. Like I've never been how would I say it? Satisfied. I don't know if you're gonna definitely have to cut out this entire part. But the sound of a ping pong ball going back. Sound design of a ping pong ball going back and forth has never been so soothing. One of the things that really stuck out to me is that you can really tell when Smile gets serious. There's one scene where he's humming the entire time, and his stupid little song as the sound of a ping pong ball going forth is very eerie and very just cool to watch at the same time.
I'll have to check this show out sometime.
I was surprised I enjoyed this. Like, this show gets you super hyped for ping pong. I got super hyped the first time I watched this show, and I was like very into it at the same time. I hate sports anime with a passion. I hate them so much just because it's always very repetitive. It's always, hey, we're gonna do the thing because we're the best, and friendship and whatnot. No, friendships almost break about this. People lose their careers because of this. They have one person who is from China, who got kicked off his national team, and that's why he's in Japan. There's a lot going on with a lot of side characters, and unlike Yuri on Ice, it does it very, very well. It focuses. I mean, there's even one part where there's just a random side character who you just see every now and then for like a few seconds, every few episodes, and you feel bad for this guy. I actually feel more connected to this guy than I did for some of the characters on Yuri on Ice. Mm-hmm. And this show is only 11 episodes long.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
I'll have to check it out, but this show I would give 4 out of 5.
Nice.
The art, the animation would probably is going to turn off a lot of people, but if you can get past that, there's a great show underneath.
Yeah.
And you can find the show on Funimation's website, and because of the merger, now you can find it on Crunchyroll.
That's awesome.
Yes. So definitely watch it.
Yep. It's not a merger, it's a partnership.
Partnership, merger, whatever.
So, I guess that brings me to my review, but also, since of the director Masaki Yuasa, if you've ever seen like Kaiba or dang it, what's the name of his name? The Tommy Galaxy and stuff like that. He's the director of that as well.
I know Kaiba.
And Kaiba's good.
Now that you mentioned Kaiba, because I showed you the intro for that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, like he's an animator by trade.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to my review. I am reviewing Kizu Monogatari.
Whoa. They're going right into that, aren't they?
Right into it.
Just elbow deep.
Yeah. So, Kizu Monogatari, the prequel to the entire Monogatari franchise, this movie was first premised to us back in 2012, whereas the trailer came out, I think it was 2011 was when the first trailer for it was released, and you can still find it. It's all just a bunch of text, Araragi shaking and his head popping off.
Yep.
Yeah, but it kind of went away until it came out in 2016 in theaters in Japan, and as well as here in the States. If you were lucky enough to be close enough to an independent theater.
You SOBs.
I know. I was angry. And like all of them, and like all of the Monogatari series, it is a feast for the eyes and an assault on the ears.
Yeah.
The trademark fast talking, so there are the quick cuts to different things. A lot of the weird camera angles, weird visual designs. Quick cuts to like random objects. It's still all there and it's ever present. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Since like with my Gundam review, I was all over the place with it. So this one is going to hopefully be a little bit more focused, mainly on the plot summary for the film. I should also note I was having difficulty while writing this to avoid dancing around the spoilers.
Yeah,
so
I can imagine.
So because it's only 60 minutes long. So minor spoiler warnings ahead for the overarching plot of the series, because you kind of have to go through point by point with this. But as with all the Monogatari series, the meat is actually in the details.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to be skimping over a lot of, like, because holy crap. So yeah, if you have seen the 2009 Baki Monogatari series, and you actually have already seen Kizu Monogatari, the first 60 seconds of the Baki Monogatari is actually the entirety of Kizu Monogatari. And that includes not just the first movie, but the second two movies. I should mention, this is part 1, Taketsu, which is Iron-Blooded.
Yeah.
And so, yes. But the movie starts off in a very weird place as compared to where the series started off. Where the series started off with a panty shot, this one starts off with Araragi, the main character, walking through a school. The cram school, which he then walks through it. Like it's just basically him breathing, like a lot of like weird ambient music going on. There's a lot of diegetic sound and weird visuals. To him walking up onto a school roof that is just covered in crows, when he walks through it, and then promptly bursts into flames when the sun comes out. Then he's running around on fire, and then he falls off the building, and it's flung outward. And that's how the movie starts. But yeah, so after the opening credits, we are introduced to Hanekawa, one of my favorite characters of the entire series. And how we're introduced to her is that a massive gust of wind comes by, and I mean this is massive, like a hurricane-sized wind comes by, and flings up her skirt, exposing her panties to our main character. And then after a bit of embarrassment, they start to have a conversation, and it's mainly just about the origin of their names, as well as making fun of Araragi for not having friends.
Yep.
They also they talk about like basically how he sees himself and his worldview. But after a while, Hanekawa starts to talk to him about a rumor of a vampire, and tells him just to kind of like watch out, or like, hey, wouldn't it be kind of cool to meet this beautiful blonde-haired vampire?
Yeah.
But anyways, the two split ways, and Araragi, unable to not think about Hanekawa's panties at home, decides to run like a bullet train through the store to buy some porn.
As you do.
As you do. So yeah, so a lot of like weird tonal things going on like right away at the beginning of this movie. A lot of weird visuals, A lot of weird editing and stuff like that, especially for Hanekawa. She's animated very much like a cat.
Yeah.
And so much.
There's a reason for that.
And there's a reason for that, which is way big in spoiler territory. Yep. But there's also even like she takes his phone and types in like her email address, and when you look at the phone, it's nya. It's her email address.
It plays very heavy into her.
Very heavily, like
once we said in spoiler territory.
Yeah, it's in spoiler territory. But it's at this point in the movie is where the tone and the visuals start to switch, or start not switch, change is a better word. All the lights in the surrounding area turn off, and the Morse code for SOS starts appearing on the screen as well as the actual sound for it. And then like a bunch more music starts playing, weird things, continuing with that, until Araragi, after walking into a subway, finds a woman in a pool of blood with her arms and legs cut off.
Nice.
Yes. and then she says that says she has Kisha Exaran Orion Heart Under Blade, which is Shinobi Oshino from the actual series.
Yeah.
That is her actual name.
Jeez.
And she also says like, I'm the iron-blooded, cold-blooded, hot-blooded vampire.
Yeah.
And after this, like, she says that she is willing to let our MC save her by having her drink all of his blood.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a weird exchange and a weird way of putting it. Araragi naturally freaks out and starts running away. And with this time, like, Heart Under Blade, like, literally starts to cry and, like, beg for him to help him. And literally starts crying like a baby. And then after some contemplation, and after hearing her, like, you can still hear her crying in the scene, he decides, why not? I don't care about my life.
Yeah.
And then he becomes a vampire. And the rest of the movie can be summed up really quickly, because a lot of it is like, it's Araragi learning what it means to be a vampire, and how Heart Under Blade got into the mess she's in, which is 3 people attacked her and stole her limbs.
Mm-hmm.
And Araragi must therefore, in order to become human again, must get them back.
Okay.
Get them back. So he's out wandering around. At this point, like, he's somehow in like a fuel refinery. Don't know. Don't ask. And where he is all of a sudden attacked by all 3 of them at the exact same time. And they're all super weird. Like, one of them like has like his arms are in our swords. One of them, that is what's his name? I forgot to write the names down. But anyways, the other one he has Dromagatori, that's his name. And then you have Episode, who's carrying this gigantic cross, and it flashes their names on the screen. Mm-hmm. And then you have Guillotine Cutter, who just looks like a badass. And then he is saved by Oshino, who is basically has like the best intro of the entire series. He stands on this thing, jumps down, and runs to him. And so then they talk, and then Oshino agrees to be the mediator between them and the 3 who took the limbs. Mm-hmm. And that's the movie. That's the entire movie. The first movie is a setup for the other 2 movies, which is like him getting the limbs back and stuff like that. It's only 60 minutes long, but it's jam-packed full of amazing visuals and amazing and at times haunting visuals. In particular, the scene with Heart Under Blade. She is at one point like flailing her limbs around, spraying blood everywhere, and will screaming like, "I don't want to die, please, I'm sorry," and over again. And I do want to point out a few things before I finish up, because I'm nearing the end of it. The movie was directed by Tatsuya Oshii, the director of Bakemonogatari, and it took him 6 years to make these films.
Jesus.
Yes. And it's like he spent a lot of different time, and because of that, they were able to get his style down really well, and so it's a lot of flat coloring to the film, and in fact, like Bakemonogatari, but with a way more limited color palette. They limited it to make it look like everything is painted with a sunset.
Okay.
So all the characters have these really mainly oranges oranges and pinks for the coloring of the characters, as well as black, and some red. And so he gets this really like sunsetty feel to the entire film. And also they have a strange mix of 2D, 3D, CG, and reality. In the film, like in particular, there's the scene with Hanekawa. Both the main characters are 2D drawings, animated on probably either on paper or on a tablet. Mm-hmm. Then you have a 3D the road they're standing on is a 3D CG image that has been made for them to stand on perfectly. The water is real.
Huh.
And also, I'm thinking that some of the background stuff is real as well.
Like actual pictures. And
actual pictures that they put on, but the actual water was filmed and then put into the frame.
That's very different.
It's really weird and really cool to look at. But the entire film is like just with tons of tons of really grasping visuals, and like a ton of other stuff. And the last thing I want to talk about is how it differs from the source material. And when
I read the book.
Yeah, because I actually have read the book. In fact, this is the first time I was actually able to read the book before watching a Monogatari series. They did change a bunch of things. They moved some things around. They didn't outright remove stuff, but what they did remove was Aragi's inner monologue. It is completely gone because it would not work. It just would not work. And it's like he's very cynical. He's very lecherous. And so how they get across what he's thinking is instead through the animation and visuals itself. And so it's really cool that way. They also with the one thing to note with the novels, it's like your background, like the setting, like the amount of time he spent, the author spends talking about it, is basically they're in an alleyway, they're in a cram school, they're outside the school. That's it. That's all the information you are given about a setting you're in, which is why there's such wild designs in the series as a whole, and that continues on in this one as well. Like just tons of random things you can do with it because the guy never talks about it. It's all conversation, all monologue. And I also recommend the books and stuff like that.
Yeah, because those are just coming out right now.
Yeah, so because Kizu Monogatari is out. Same with Bake Part 1. Bake Part 2 is coming out very soon at the time of this recording. And Bake Monogatari, and also Nisei Monogatari and Part 1 and 2 are also set to release this year as well. So you have a wealth of books you can read with it as well. But yeah. But like one of the things that the book did that compared to the movie, as in terms of like where its focus was, it spent 2 pages describing Hanekawa's panties.
I remember you sending me about that.
Yeah, it's really weird, and the book references that you spent 2 pages reading it. It's kind of funny that way. But overall, this movie is Monogatari. It is quintessential Monogatari and Studio Shaft. It's got the same strengths and same weaknesses as the rest of the series, and it has amazing visuals, dialogue, but at times it just feels like it's going absolutely nowhere. And if you are a huge fan of the series, you would love it. And if you're looking to a good place to check out just a very large series at this point, this is a great starting point.
I was about to ask, would you say to watch the series first before the movie? Or
if you want to go by book order, you would watch Bake, Nisei, then Kizu. If you want to go in chronological order, in terms of starting out, it would be Kizu, then Bake Monogatari. Yeah. But I would say a good place to start would be the first 2 episodes of Bake Monogatari to give you a sense, because it's one arc, give you a sense of where it was, and then if you want to go back, you can. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, because this is a very large series.
It's over 50 episodes right now.
Yeah. I don't know if this would be an insult or anything, but I'd call this generation's Ava. If I don't know, I think that'd be the best way to describe it, with how popular it is, how much imagery there is and whatnot, and now with the movies coming out too, that's changing the game at all too.
Yeah, and if you wanted to collect all of them on Blu-ray, it's 13 releases.
Yep. Not cheap releases.
Not cheap releases, mind you. All of them are Aniplex. The most expensive was $150.
Yep.
The individual ones are between $50 to $70, depending upon which one it is.
So what would you give this movie?
I would give this one a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
There are like a few things with it that sometimes, like the visuals, like it's a little over dramatic. At times there's at times like you really, like at one point I almost fell asleep because like the conversation was actually going nowhere. Yeah, so it has those same problems, like where it's like a wasteland of plot where the plot doesn't happen. But I still highly love this series. I still highly recommend it. Like, great. It's so great.
All right, so Ping Pong the animation, 4 out of 5, and Kizumonogatari,
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Both of them great things. I would recommend Ping Pong you can find at Crunchyroll or Funimation's website, and Kizumonogatari
you can only buy the Blu-ray set, which is $70. It does come with a booklet with interviews with the character designer. I think maybe the animation director. I'd have to check again. And there's an interview with both the writer and the chief director. So it's Nishio Oisin and Akiyuki Shimbo. I do recommend reading that interview. I just read it this morning. There's a lot of detail in it, like a lot of like the ways that Nishio Oisin writes stuff. He talks about, and also as well as like how Akiyuki Shimbo like was thinking about the characters while working on the series.
Yeah. So definitely would recommend just buying the series in general if you have the money.
If you have the money for it, otherwise you can watch the entire rest of the series on Crunchyroll. The first series, Bakemonogatari, is actually missing 3 episodes.
Is it?
Yes, because it's 15 episodes long, and the last 3 episodes were actually released online.
Yeah.
As opposed to airing on TV.
Okay.
And when it's on Crunchyroll, it's actually 480p.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because the Blu-rays are 1080.
Yeah, but that's something we'll talk about because we eventually do want to have a special about the whole series in general.
But you can find all of them on
Crunchyroll.
If you want to buy them, they're all available at Right Stuff.
Yep.
If you want to, it's Aniplex of America if you're looking by publisher. If you want to know release order, ANN is your best resource for that.
Yep.
If you just click on Bakemonogatari TV series, it should have all of them in release order.
Alright, so those are reviews, and before we end the show, what are you looking forward to this week?
This week, what am I looking forward to? I'm hanging out with a friend of mine on this week, which is great. Get a second mic at that point. What else am I looking forward to? I'm hopefully getting back to playing Tales of Berseria because I don't play it at all. And catching up with March Comes In Like a Lion. I'm looking forward to getting caught up with that.
And what I'm looking forward to, it's a little bit off, but the only thing I'm really looking forward to is seeing that Sword Art Online movie.
Yeah, that's not. That's not until 2 weeks from here.
2 weeks, yeah, it's not too far. But
yeah,
I'm excited for it.
I bought it.
You bought it, and you're coming with me and my wife because we were saying that as soon as we learned that it was airing at like literally a movie theater, literally just down the street from us. My wife was like, "You're buying those right now. I don't care if we can afford it or not. You're just buying them right now."
I'm like, when I told you that, I'm like, I bet I'm gonna have to go see this with him and his wife.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. More excited just for.
I actually,
just in general
I am.
too.
I am actually excited for that movie as well because
Yeah.
like I need to get caught up.
Yeah. Well, it's today's big show to get people into anime. I'd say. I don't know if you've watched Gigooks thing
I
saying
did.
why Sword Art Online is so popular.
It's easy to get into.
Yeah, it's easy to get into and a good way to get people into anime.
Yep.
All right.
I have my reservations, but
yeah, I do too, and I love the show.
but anyways,
I'll do that in another episode. Though.
Yeah.
But I guess right now we're gonna be just telling the biggest news because I know we posted on Facebook and Twitter, even though we only have like 6 people on Facebook and
no one on Twitter.
We have 3 followers on Twitter. One of them is a porn bot, so.
And one of them has also a few others.
A few other bots and whatnot.
Yeah.
So to all the bots out there.
To all the bots out there.
We're gonna be changing the show. As you can tell, the show might have seemed a little shorter. I'm not sure, but we're trying things out where we're making sure we can get through everything quicker to make the show flow better and easier for everybody to listen to.
Yeah.
Because we've realized when we're listening to past episodes, it kind of drags on a bit.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that's going to be changing is that we're no longer going to be a weekly show. We're actually going to be bi-weekly.
Yes, I'm actually excited for this.
Yes, because both of us are adults.
Yes.
Basically, it's a good way to put it. We both have a lot of schedules, a lot of things going on within our lives. But we're doing this as a kind of an experiment, too, at the same time to make sure that we can get better prepared for episodes. Because especially last week definitely showed how rushed we were to get an episode together. Yeah.
So hopefully this allows us to know exactly to get everything prepared. So for the foreseeable future, it's going to be a bi-weekly podcast.
It's going to be a bi-weekly podcast. It probably will stay that way unless for gracious gift from God, we earn enough money to live off this, which we probably won't.
We probably won't.
It's still a fun thing for us to do.
Yeah, and hopefully this also gives us extra time to maybe do other things. That's my hope anyways.
Yeah.
I'm not promising anything because
No.
more than likely nothing will happen. But there's
it all just basically depends on how well this show does. Which I just want to say thank you to all for listening. We broke a total downloads of over 100.
Yep.
So I want to say thank you all for listening to us.
We reached a milestone.
That's our milestone. Not 100 for one episode, just in general 100 downloads all together.
Yay!
So I want to thank you all for subscribing to us, downloading us, sharing us with all your friends and your dogs and all
make
that.
sure you leave us a review on
iTunes, Google Play,
wherever we are.
Send us mail because we're lonely.
Please send us mail. I am lonely.
I'm lonely. Pay attention to me. Notice me, senpais.
Notice me, listener.
So you can find us on Facebook at Tiger Anime 2.0. You can also find us at Twitter at Tiger Anime 2.0. You said does work?
2.0 does work.
2.0 or 2_ or on Twitter. You can also find us on iTunes, Google Play, and TuneIn.
Yes, and you can also now find us on my anime list.
Mm-hmm.
We are Tiger Anime 2_0.
Yep. So we'll be basically using that as our way to keep track of what we review. And in case you're just kind of, oh, they're reviewing this, well, might as well see what their thing is. We're probably going to have to adjust the way we do it because we're Tiger Anime.
Yes,
my anime list does a scale up to 10, and we only do ours to 5.
We do ours to 5, but we do have points, so
we
it
do have
correlates
points,
really
so
easily.
It'll correlate very easily. You can email us at tigeranime2.0@gmail.com. Do not message just Tiger Anime because that doesn't exist.
Yep, that one does not exist.
tigeranime2.0@gmail.com. Send us anything you want from just general, hey, you guys are good, you guys are terrible, to any requests you have. If you have a request for a terrible anime, send it to terribleanime@arash as a subject line, because Jay won't see those at all, but I will.
Yeah. Yeah. If you do have requests, the best way to get it through is through the email.
Yep. And once again, make sure if it is an anime kind of request for any anime request, make sure we can acquire it legally, preferably at a legal streaming site.
Yes. If we have to import it from Japan.
Unless you send us the money or the actual product. That's not going to happen.
That's going to happen unless it's a special circumstance. It's where we really want to review it. There's a show I want to review, and so it's one of the things I'm looking for while in Japan.
Yep. So that's our show. We hope you enjoyed the new format, and we hope you guys will be fine with waiting for another 2 weeks for us to come up with a new episode. Once again, we apologize for that, but we do want to make sure you guys get the best show possible. Because we love doing this. It is basically a hobby for us, but we do put in a lot of work for this because we have, I watch an entire show to review, write it down, look up all this stuff. You do a lot of editing work and whatnot.
Yeah, I do a lot of my stuff is background stuff,
and mine is public relations.
Yes. Background work. I spent quite a bit of time writing my review.
Yep.
More than I did for Gundam.
Yeah. So that's it for our show. We hope you enjoyed it. My name is Arash.
I'm Jay.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Bye.